Fall semester exam. For sections 1, 2, you are going to need to have a clear idea of the unit circle. You're going to need to know how to fill in this chart from memory. So I'm not going to really go over it too much because you need to work on that. If you can fill in the unit circle, you can do sections 1 and 2 fairly easy. But I will start giving you some answers. So 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3, that would be here. That's in quadrant 2. Now negative pi over 4. Regular pi over 4 is here. Pi over 4 is the exact same thing as 45 degrees. So if we're going to do negative pi over 4, that means we would have to do a negative 45-degree rotation. That would be here. So we are in quadrant 4. For C, that's quadrant 3. Negative 235, I'll do that one for you because a rotation of 235 degrees would be over here in quadrant 3. So if we were going to do a rotation of negative 235 degrees, well, if we went this direction, that would be negative 90. That would be negative 180. That would be negative 270. So negative 235 is going to be in this region here, that quadrant. So that would be quadrant 2. 120 degrees, also quadrant 2. And then 280 degrees would be quadrant 4. For section 3, we are going to rewrite the given angle in radian measure as a multiple of pi and convert to radians. The way that we do this is we're going to take our degree, 135, and we're going to multiply that by pi over 180. Now on this test, we're allowed to use calculators, so I'm going to show you how you could do this in your calculator fairly easily. Alpha y equals enter. We want our numerator to be negative 135 and our denominator to be 180. That would give us negative 3 over 4. And just make sure you give your numerator the pi symbol. So that would be your answer for 3A. For 3B, 130 times pi over 180. In the calculator, alpha y equals enter. Let's make 130 our numerator and 180 the denominator to get 13 over 18. So make sure you give the numerator the pi symbol. We've now converted that one to radians. And then example 3C. You did 3C correctly, you get negative 14 pi over 9 radians. Section 4, convert the given angle measure from radian to degrees and round to 3 decimal places if necessary. Let's take pi over 8. And when we are converting from radians to degrees, you take your radian measure and multiply that by 180 over pi. When we do this, your pi's are going to cross cancel, leaving you with 180 over 8, which you can now do in your calculator. I have 45 over 2. It says to round to 3 decimal places. So math, I'm going to hit that button. Scroll down to option 2 and select that. And then hit enter. 22.5 degrees. 4B. 6 pi over 7 times 180 over pi. Those pi's cross cancel, leaving us with 6. I am messing up my numbers here. 6 times 180 over 7, which you can now plug into your calculator. Let's convert that to a decimal. Math, select option 2, and then enter. Remember to round to 3 decimal places, so we would get a final answer of 154 and 0.286 degrees. And now for C, let's convert that from radians to degrees. Example 5 and 6. Yes, you're allowed to use calculator, but this will not help you very much on this particular portion of the exam. You're going to need to have a familiarity with the unit circle. So if we're going to evaluate sine of 5 pi over 3, we're going to go to 5 pi over 3 radians, which would be located here, and then find the sine value, which would be negative root 3 over 2. And now sine of negative pi over 6. As we can see in our unit circle, pi over 6, regular pi over 6 is 30 degrees. So we need to do a negative 30-degree rotation. And the sine value at that point would be negative 1/2. And now sine of 3 pi over 4. Here's where 3 pi over 4 is in the unit circle. It has a sine value of root 2 over 2. Now evaluate cosine of 5 pi over 3. Here's where 5 pi over 3 is in the unit circle. It has a cosine value of 1/2. Now cosine of negative 5 pi over 6. 5 pi over 6 is a rotation of 150 degrees. So we're going to need to do a rotation of negative 150 degrees, which would be here. The cosine value at that point is negative root 3 over 2. And then cosine of 7 pi over 4. Here's where 7 pi over 4 is. It has a cosine value of root 2 over 2. For each of the following angles, find the reference angle and state one positive and one negative coterminal. When finding the reference angle, if your angle is in radians, these are the easiest ones to do, because whatever your denominator is, keep the denominator and simply write pi above it. That's it. So your reference angle for 2 pi over 3 is pi over 3. Keep the denominator the same and simply put a pi above it. So that is our reference angle. In order to find coterminal, I just noticed a misspelling. Conterminal? No, it's supposed to be coterminal. You are either going to, if it's in radians, you're going to either add 2 pi to your radians, or you're going to subtract 2 pi from your radians. So in order to find the positive coterminal, we would do 2 pi over 3 plus 2 pi. That would give us our positive. To find the negative coterminal, take 2 pi over 3 and subtract 2 pi. This is where having your calculator comes in handy. Don't worry about the pi's for right now. Just do alpha y equals enter 2 over 3 plus 2. That gives us 8 over 3. And give your numerator the pi symbol. So we now have a positive coterminal. Let's go find the negative. Alpha y equals enter 2 over 3 minus 2. Negative 4 over 3 or negative 4 pi over 3. And we now have our negative coterminal angle. For example, 7b, whenever you have an angle in degrees, it's not as easy to find the reference angle. So what we'd have to do is we have to have an awareness of, well, where is 300 degrees in the unit circle? 300 degrees in the unit circle is here. In order to find reference angle, it's whatever your angle is, and then the difference to the closest x-axis. So from here, 300, to here, the closest x-axis, that is 60 degrees of rotation. Therefore, our reference angle is 60 degrees. To find a positive and negative coterminal, you take the given angle measure and add 360 degrees to it. That will give you your positive. To find the negative, take your given angle measure and subtract 360 degrees from that. And that one is now complete. Example 7c, 15 degrees, the reference angle. Well, 15 degrees in our unit circle would be right about here. And how many degrees is it from here to here, the positive x-axis? Well, 15 degrees. So your reference angle for C is 15 degrees. In order to find your positive coterminal, take your given angle measure, add 360. To find your negative coterminal, take your given angle measure, subtract 360.